taking the time to fully learn yourself inside and out, your fears, ambitions, motivations, and feelings and emotions and everything in between is critical for you to be yourself, to express yourself, to make decisions, to make boundaries and things of that nature. It all starts off with this, I almost want to call it hyper awareness of yourself. The reason I use hyper is because it isn't so common now, you know? And I think one of the reasons that this is not as common is because everything is so accessible. The internet, you know what I'm saying? There's a Reddit forum for everything. There's 1,000 social media videos of everyone putting out their opinion as truth. YouTube videos. There's just so many places to go to. Wherever you're scrolling, there's someone else's opinion. And it's not like people are kind of throwing it out as if it's just their 2 cents. People often speak in absolutes, and there's not many things that are that absolute in life, in my opinion, when it comes to emotions and personalities and situations, things of that nature. And I think this is kind of a downfall, and it's an obvious downfall that a lot of people aren't acknowledging. You know, easy example is bringing up relationships. I'm pretty sure like majority of just relationships as an adult just failed. Like there's just no chance. It's for the majority of people, at least in my experience. And the reason being the absolutes that people have. So when I say absolutes, I mean, like, you ever heard someone try to take advice from someone and they keep using the word should? You know, like, the man should do this, the woman should be doing this, a relationship should feel like this. In this phase of the relationship, this should be happening. And this word should just keeps being thrown around. And for one, like I said before, nothing usually is that absolute when it comes to things as complex as people. And second of all, the word should takes away the uniqueness of the individuals and the specific relationship or situation. And this is not just about relationships. This can be about so many areas of someone's life where everything just should be this way. You know, everyone speaks in such absolutes, but what works for the next guy, or what works for one guy, does not mean it will work for the next guy. Realization that it is your responsibility to figure out all of these things for yourself needs to be placed like higher on like a hierarchy scale of things a person needs to do. Figure out who you are, because I think I've said this in previous videos, where if you don't do it for yourself, there's going to be another person that tries to replace that of you or for you. You know, if you don't know what you should want to do in life, there's going to be someone that says you should do this. You should do this. Oh, you should do this. Oh, I think this would be good for you. I think, you know, and not saying that these are all rooted in very negative or harmful like intentions, but the impacts of some like bad advice or being pushed in the wrong direction can be very harmful to a person, for their mental health, and just to so much, you know. I think part of this problem also starts with a person's parents. You know, I think kids are usually raised up to a certain age, and once they hit probably around middle school, I almost feel like maybe high school, a lot of parents stop raising their kids. You know, they teach them very fundamental things. You shouldn't fight. You should fight for this. You should do this. You know what I'm saying? It's very like basic things. But once a person starts to develop more complicated emotions and things of that nature and thoughts, I often feel like a lot of parents, due to the lack of knowledge within themselves, fail to teach their kids how to decipher themselves. And like I said before, if you fail to do so, there'll be someone else that will. So there's an upperclassman that's telling, you know what I'm saying, this 15-year-old that they should just go about this breakup like this. There's a peer, you know what I'm saying, it's blind leading the blind at this point, to where no one knows where the right direction is. Everyone just keeps saying, oh, I think we should go this way. No, I think we should go this way. And you just keep walking. You know, taking the time to learn yourself is basically like getting yourself a fucking lamp or a lantern, whatever the fuck you want to use to make this analogy make sense. And for you to be able to walk for yourself, you know, to start lighting up a place. Like, another thing with this lack of emphasis for a person to learn themselves and learning how to decipher themselves and go through these complicated emotions and thoughts, is just how accessible it is for you to just look it up. It's so simple. And I don't blame people for using ChatGPT instead of figuring out the entire process that kind of has to occur for a person to fully get over something or to fully understand it to the deepest extent. There's just like a fucking 2-word sentence that kind of tries to summarize something that usually takes months or weeks or however long it takes for people to deal with whatever thoughts they're dealing with. And oftentimes what they see may be the end result, but without knowing the meat and potatoes of it, the ins and outs, this answer kind of doesn't have the full effect, you know? Like imagine, to make this make sense, think of some phrases you heard as a kid that your parents may have told you, and you kind of just blew them off. We don't know what they're talking about. They just keep saying this one-liner or whatever the case may be. You get older and you get to stressing, you get in the same type of situations as they were in, and you're like, oh, I see what my parents was talking about. I see what the old age was talking about. You know, it took the full context. It took some experience. It took all of the middle parts for you to fully understand it. And that's what I mean by learning yourself. That is all of the middle parts. You know what I'm saying? The ending answers that people have done the work, they're there, out there. But you're not going to fully be able to understand it until you experience everything else that they did. You know what I'm saying? I did bring this up briefly, but just to touch back on it, I think I said it like maybe 2 or 3 times already. But if you don't take the time to learn yourself and point yourself in the right direction, there's going to be someone else that tries to take over your boat for you. And if you don't know any better, you will just end up going wherever the fuck this person wants, almost for themselves, but they just kind of push it onto you. And this is almost hell for a lot of people. Like their uniqueness of their soul is almost taken away when you put it in the hands of another person. You know what I'm saying? College isn't for everyone. A 9 to 5 is not for everyone. I'm not saying it's anything bad, but when you're thinking of your ambitions to the deepest extent, no way that these are part of the equation. For some people, the things that they want to do require college, things of that nature. So yeah, but that's not for everybody. But there's a crazy amount of people that get pushed into these situations and they get sent to college, or they just decide to go because they don't know what else to do. And then they end up fucking with a 1.5 GPA. They haven't been in 2 months. They just wasted X amount of money. They're in debt. You know what I'm saying? They're depressed. You know what I'm saying? You see the spiral. I guess I'm going to just keep stressing this whole point of take the time to learn yourself. Or else you're just in the dark. You are walking around blindly. You are in the fucking... It's like a gateway to the sunken place is how I almost want to... You know what I'm saying? This is a gateway to the sunken place. This is a gateway to know where you want to be.